You're watching an exclusive high-definition broadcast of HDNET Fights.
This is HDNET Fights, Stars, and Strikes. Hey everyone, I'm Ron Kruk, and tonight we pay tribute to MMA fighters who have served in the United States military. In the sports world, terms like battle, war, and courage are used every day to describe actions on the field of play. But the fighters we'll show you tonight have a true understanding of what those words really mean. They are experts in hand-to-hand combat, something the U.S. military has taken a greater interest in recently, training servicemen in mixed martial arts to help them take on the challenges that they will face in the field. Some soldiers have told stories about how their MMA training has kept them alive.
Cage fighting is just like kinetic chess, and when I'm in the cage I have to think on my feet, I have to think quickly, and it's the same thing in warfare. So any intense situation I can get involved in that requires utmost focus, dedication, and a heck of a lot of tough training, I want to be involved in it because it's going to help me in my professional life in the Marine Corps as well.
A mixed martial art base for soldiers, understanding fundamentals of boxing and jiu-jitsu and kickboxing was really necessary, that you could actually diffuse what could be a really explosive situation just because a soldier has the ability to not, take things too far. We believe that you have to be proficient at combatives to be good at your job. And that's the real reason why I do it.
We kick off our show with perhaps the most well-known Army Ranger in the MMA world, Tim Kennedy, a winner of 3 straight All-Army combative tournaments. Tim is still active in the military, having served in Iraq and winning the Bronze Star for his heroics. In December of 2007, Tim took on Elias Rivera at the IFL World Grand Prix Finals just 2 weeks after fighting Jason Miller at HDNET Fights Reckless Abandon. Kennedy suffered a major gash over his eye in the fight against Miller, and many thought he wouldn't be able to take the Rivera fight. But Kennedy showed that Army Ranger toughness and not only fought, but uncorked the beating of a lifetime on Rivera.
2 great bouts have got the evening underway in great fashion here tonight. We've got another preliminary bout for you this evening in the middleweight ranks of the International Fight League. I know our fighter in the blue corner has some friends and family that are here to cheer him on tonight. He's a kickboxer trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at 5 feet 11 inches tall and 181 pounds with a professional record of 3 wins and 2 losses, training at Extreme Couture. He calls home Southington, Connecticut. Here is Elias Rivera. His opponent tonight is coming off of a 3-round war against Jason Mayhem Miller just 2 weeks ago in Chicago, in Dallas, Texas, actually. Tonight, a kickboxer arrives here in Mohegan Sun at 5 feet 11 inches tall. He weighed in at fight time at 186 pounds, and his professional record, 8 wins with just 2 losses. From Fort Bragg, North Carolina, welcome this Army Ranger ready to do battle. It's Tim Kennedy. Once again, 3 4-minute rounds scheduled.
As we look at our vitamin energy tail of the tape.
Elias Rivera, he's a Thai boxer who just loves to knock his opponents out, whether it's with knees, kicks, punches, he will throw everything. Tim Kennedy is a ranger in the Army who has mixed martial arts as a hobby, and although he cannot train as often, he does that hobby very well. He's a very well-rounded martial artist who will bring the fight to his opponent.
Round 1 scheduled for 3 4-minute rounds. Kennedy coming off a tough fight just 2 weeks ago, going the distance before losing to Jason Mayhem Miller and Elias Rivera. Those are good punch early.
Oop, hanging in the ropes there.
And Kennedy grabs him and slams him.
Yep, he got rocked there, and he needed this takedown.
Kennedy takes control of this fight back.
Kennedy's a real good fighter.
Yeah, we saw him a couple of weeks ago. He looked real strong against Mayhem Miller.
Yeah, but then that big cut came, you know, and that works against you. You can't see anymore. Breathing is hard. Look at this.
That was an accidental elbow. Kennedy told us it opened up that cut. He looks good coming into this fight tonight. Said he felt comfortable and was ready to go again, as you would expect from a decorated Army Ranger that he is.
Looks for the mount here. Right away, you see Elias Rivera puts him in a half guard. He doesn't want to have him in the mount. He's looking for that choke, but it's not really a choke. You only have to look to the left right now, and then you'll bypass that choke.
Kennedy trying to get a hammer down there to give himself a little room.
This is a nice little body squeeze here, which squeezes everything out. But a buck up can escape it. That's what he does. Slips off.
And he moves in. Tries to move up full and get a punch in.
Now he's got the ball.
Now he tries again.
Trouble, nice punch.
It's letting it go. Kennedy wins it. Kennedy wins it.
Whoa! Did you see the punching power? This is oi. Oi, 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 oi. Oh, this was hard.
Tim Kennedy took a punch early from Rivera, got it to the ground, worked hard, got full mount boss, and punching power we knew he had, but I don't know if many people knew he had that kind of power that quickly. I don't think Rivera knew it.
Be okay.
There you see the good right, the best punch by Rivera, and Kennedy goes to the ground immediately.
Yeah, shot underneath the second punch, and then boom, took him down, slammed him hard.
And
now we go here.
Yeah, gets in full mount finally, boss.
Full mount. You know, he turned on his side, which is something you should not do. You should always look and see where the punches are coming from. The referee should stop, and that's what Dan does right here. Very good decision. You know, that's what happens. You don't see the punches coming. Look, he's putting his hand in front of his face. He simply doesn't see the punches coming, and then they have way more impact because your body is simply not ready for them. Eyes on your opponent, ladies and gentlemen, always.
It looked like he turned right.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we make this official and put it in the books, we think it's important to tell you that Elias is going to be fine. He has good movement of his extremities. He was awake, alert. They are going to take him for observation. So before he gets out of the building, please let him know you appreciate him stepping in here tonight. The safety of our fighters is always of the utmost importance to us in the International Fight League, and great sportsmanship on the part of his opponent tonight, very concerned there in the corner. But you watched it as it happened. That's what happens in MMA. 2 minutes into the fight, by way of knockout, your winner, Tim Kennedy!
The good news is Elias Rivera was okay after the beatdown and actually drove himself home after the fight. But clearly, Kennedy had some aggression he needed to take out on his opponent after his loss to Jason Miller 2 weeks prior. And there was no doubt he wanted to end it quickly before the still healing cut over his eye opened up again. You'll want to hang around for the Kennedy-Miller fight later in the show. Up next is a fighter nicknamed Tommy Gun, Tommy Truex. After serving a year and a half in Iraq, Truex was ready to do his fighting in the cage against Ferrid Kheder at SportFight 21 in Portland, Oregon. A former collegiate wrestler at the University of New Mexico, the Lobo Truex has been training with Jackson Submission Fighting in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Kheder, a native of France who is now training with Team Quest, once competed in the Olympics in judo. This would be a tough test for the 23-year-old Truex.
Truex, Army veteran, 1-1 as a pro. Kheder from Paris originally, fighting out of California, 3-1 as a pro.
My name is Tommy Truex. I'm a freestyle fighter. I'm mostly wrestling.
My name is Ferrid Kheder. My background is in judo.
He's a great athlete. I try to be a good athlete, so it's really fun.
He was a wrestler, high school, and now he's in one of the best teams in America.
Definitely just do damage on my feet and take him down and beat him where I feel comfortable.
I like to be on the ground. I like ground and pound, but I can stay in stand-up too because I like boxing.
It's going to be an awesome fight. If you've seen any of my prior fights, it's always fun to watch.
Ferrid Kheder, who is from Paris, France, lives now in Temecula, California. 3-1 as a pro, and he has been a busy fighter. This is the 3rd straight month that he's had a fight. He was on the 2000 Olympic team from France in judo. He finished 7th in that competition.
He's also a European champion, which is speaking volumes as well. Very talented judo player. Certainly the ability to clinch, throw, and take it to the ground.
Tommy Gun Truex, now coming out, freestyle fighter out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. He attends the University of New Mexico. He's in the ROTC program. This time next year, he will be a commissioned officer, a 2nd lieutenant. 6 years of service already, including two tours of duty in Iraq. He has 1-1 in his pro career. Lost his debut by way of submission, but has been training hard and came back strong. Learned a lot, he said, from that first fight, and is interested in also when he gets into his Army career now as a lieutenant. He thinks he'll have enough time too to continue to train and get out there and get some fights in as well, as he's coming off a 1st-round victory, as you see there.
When I asked him, where do you see this fight going? He says, I see this fight going everywhere. We're going to do some standing. We're going to go down on the ground. I'm going to kick. And he definitely feels he has the better hands in this fight.
Truex and Kheder, as we take a look at the tail of the tape. Pretty much dead even there. Truex, the younger of the two fighters. Kheder with his amateur and pro career combined of 6-1. Again, he's been very active. Let's now get the official introductions. Let's go back to Tim.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we will turn our attention to the lightweights. First, in the blue corner, he is trained in judo and training with Team Quest. His professional record, 6 wins with just 1 loss. Standing 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighing in at fight time at 161 pounds. From Temecula, California, here is Ferrid Kheder. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, of freestyle, training with Jackson Submission Fighting. His professional record, even at 1 win and 1 loss. At 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighing 161 pounds, fighting out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Please welcome Tommy, the Tommy Gun Truex. About scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Sean Gregory, your referee for this bout.
All right, guys, you guys know the rules. Protect yourselves at all times. Above all, obey my commands at all times. Any questions? Touch gloves, please. Back to corners.
SportFight fans, let them hear you out there.
Interesting, they came in on different sides.
That's it. Truex in the blue. Kheder in the red.
It's
trunks.
now the opposite way as round 1 starts.
I'm talking
in
shorts,
the blue trunks.
not
We know that Truex now is in the blue trunks. Kheder obviously in the red. We'll see Truex, who is known for his submissions. Kheder with maybe more of a stand-up game with the judo background as well. Truex trying to cut the ring off early. He's looking like a boxer here in this opening few seconds.
Now they're measuring each other, trying to find the distance. That was a wild little setup.
That was from the playgrounds, wasn't it?
Yeah, looking for the old watch my right hand, here comes my left.
Yeah, stamp my foot. Good kick by Truex. Kheder comes back with the right. Feigns another right. Obviously, both guys very comfortable standing here at the moment. Truex gets a good combination in. And Truex stings him. Tommy Truex delivering some punishment early on. Kheder stays strong, regains his composure.
This is where he can be most effective, is in the clinch. This is closer to judo than anything right here.
Sean Gregory warns, though, get off the ropes. You can't hold on to the ropes. You're going to get your arms around Truex, but that's the only leverage. He's got those underhooks in there. What will Truex be able to do here?
Good knee. See him step in with the left foot and twist. He might be able to bring Truex down. And he waited too long on it. They break. But without question, Truex able to get in there, able to score with his hands, and he rocked him with a right. See him to do it again.
Truex moves back in quickly. Truex cutting down, trying to get Kheder back here into the corner, and he does. Kheder dancing around now a little more.
That hit the shoulder of Truex, not the head.
Now Truex, you can look at his stance. This guy's been in a few boxing matches along the way. He's 1-1 as an MMA pro. Perhaps that Army training, but it looks like he's been in a few rings as a boxer.
He's a little busier with those hands. I think he can take Kheder out.
Kheder wild right. Truex avoids it easily. Truex almost stalking.
He is stalking.
Look at Kheder, continues to be on the retreat.
Ooh, right
and
here.
There's another right.
Hit him in the temple.
And wisely, Kheder is able to get back into a clinch along the ropes.
Possible throw coming.
Right up is Truex and he swings.
Kheder is not liking the stand-up anymore.
No, he can't handle Truex in the stand-up, at least not now. Truex has him in the corner. You can tell the difference in the styles when he shoots straight with that jab as Truex. Kheder more looping and coming in.
The only thing I don't like about Truex is he's just the same pace all the time. He doesn't change that a little bit. I think if he did, find a little bit more success. He's predictable coming in, and Keder's hitting him with a jab and running.
Truex with another good right.
Kheder flinched a little bit there.
Kheder is not, he doesn't want to get in, he doesn't want to go toe-to-toe here, wisely so.
I agree with that. But it seems he's limited. He doesn't know how to go under an opponent. And he's had a couple shots at the clinch and hasn't been able to utilize it.
Truex is trying to make this a boxing match.
Well, that one actually touched Tommy's chin.
Yeah, the first time that we've seen a flinch from Truex here in this first round.
Just not throwing punches. I think Truex should be throwing more punches.
This is very different. Truex has won and lost by ways of submission in his 2 pro fights. Has not shown any indication he wants to be on the ground here. And again, trying to get the clinch along the ropes is Kheder.
Kheder again grabbing the ropes.
Final seconds of round 1.
And again, an opportunity in tight. Kheder wasn't able to bring Truex down to the ground with some form of judo throw.
That'll be an interesting scoring for the judges. Don't you think in that first round? I'm not sure. Truex dictating the tempo, got in the best punches by far. Not an overwhelming dominant round at all by Truex, but he was taking the fight to Kheder.
I think he won it 10-9. That's probably how most of the judges will see it. And I think if Truex just threw a little bit more leather, he'd have better results. He's just waiting a little too long, and it gives Kheder a chance to throw a jab and move again.
Look at Ferrid Kheder. We talked about his Olympic experience. You certainly, my gold medal winning friend, know what that's all about.
Now, I'll tell you what, judo is practiced all over the world. It's very, in terms of the number of countries participating, it's up there. And to finish 7th in the Olympics is a big statement. But we're talking gi, and you're talking, you know, really no wrestling training of going under, so it limits how much Kheder can bring in here.
Here goes round 2. Will Truex continue to be the boxer? So far, yes.
Now that was the biggest punch I've seen Truex throw. That had mean intention, big right.
Kheder trying to counter punch. Truex missing with 2 big overhands here early on in the 2nd round.
Nice sidestep by Truex, but missed on the counter.
Yeah, Truex looks good about everything except that overhand right, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got all the fundamentals down, but he's missed with that so far. Flicking the jab out there is Kheder. Ferrid Kheder appears very confident as well to just stand up with him now.
Good kick. Keder's throwing big right hands himself, but they're wild. Another clinch opportunity. Can he take advantage?
The crowd wants to see a little action. A rare moment in MMA. You're hearing some booing from 2 guys standing up.
Well, Keder's doing everything he can not to get hit. He's being very mobile. Truex not having the opportunity to stand and trade because Kheder won't stand and trade.
Ferrid Kheder is trying to trip up Tommy Truex. Truex backed up against the corner. Trying for a takedown. Truex too strong. Truex now comes back in and gets him the left.
Truex had an opportunity there. He had Kheder pinned and he wasn't able to finish him there.
Kheder trying to come back with the knees, pushes him right up against the ropes. That's where they'll try to tango. Truex, though, has not been able to be taken down.
He's got
and
behind.
Still not, and now he will do the takedown. He slams Kheder.
See if he goes for some shots here.
For the first time, we're going to see Truex working on the ground game. He has been, throughout this fight, a stand-up fighter.
This is something familiar to judo. They have a guard. They do have some submissions. So he's not at all uncomfortable fighting off his back. But ground and pound is something he had to learn. How to tie up a man's arms so they can't hit you. Keeping half guard. And Truex now using elbows, which doesn't pull his body out of position as badly as a punch.
You wonder with his punching ability, Jeff, if he can get in a better position here, Truex ought to be able to do some damage in a ground and pound.
Well, he's only got half guard, which means he should be able to posture up like he is, but when he brings his head down, no space.
Let's check in with Ron in the corner.
Chris Wilson in Keder's corner. Assess your fighter's performance.
Well, it looks like, you know, he's still not super experienced. He's got a good judo background. I think he's still kind of trying to find himself in the fight, and you know, we really need to work on getting his underhooks and, you know, combinations into a clinch, work some transitions.
He seemed, Chris, comfortable standing up and exchanging there in the first.
He did. He did it more than I might have liked, but, you know, he did land some great right hands. But, you know, you can't just land one punch and expect the fight to be over. So combinations into a clinch, which is his strong point, I think.
When are we going to see you back in the ring?
I think probably March, I think, is my next one.
Sounds great. Thanks, Chris. Kenny, back to you.
Thanks, Ron. Chris Wilson, very well-known fighter here in this area. Fought in the International Fight League, has fought here in SportFight, now with Bodog. Very talented fighter. Working the corner of Ferrid Kheder. And now Sean Gregory is going to stand him up. 10 seconds to go here in this round. Is moving in as Tommy Truex swings and misses all over the place. Truex got it right in there just before the bell.
And they were throwing bombs right there, but nobody landed. Conditioning now becoming a big part of this fight.
The way Truex came out in the first round and was cutting down this ring, I thought that he had a good shot at a knockout. That seems like a long time ago, though, as we pick up the action here in the second round. And there's Truex getting the slam.
Able to take his back, but no holds off of this, no real ground and pound off of this. But I would give that round also to Mr. Truex. So I have him up 2 rounds to none.
It certainly hasn't been a dominating performance, but it's been a solid performance here for Tommy Truex. The 6-year military man now at the University of New Mexico, where he will become a commissioned officer in the ROTC program. He's going there. He's a year away from that. Ferrid Kheder, who is a young fighter himself. He has a great judo background. He's been in the Olympics. Not a lot of mixed martial arts action.
He's learning a new skill set.
And here we go into the final round. Truex in the blue.
And also judo with the gi, you know, that gives you handles. In MMA, there are no handles. And that's a tough position for Truex. He's not going to score there on Kheder, not with his Olympic experience. It'd be too tough. But with the fists, that's a different story. See if they throw combinations now.
Oh, good kick there by Kheder. Took the leg out from under Truex, who bounces back up. Truex has him back in the corner. And this has been the way it's gone. Kheder has been on the retreat most of this fight. But Truex has not been able to do a lot of damage with the strikes. He's been efficient at times.
You know, I mean, they've engaged each other 3-4 times here, and Truex has not let his hands go yet. Gets his one little in there, and now he has to stalk him down again. That was a solid jab.
Truex pushed back against the ropes. Kheder.
Wow, left knee by Kheder might score here. He can bring it up fast enough and get him to lean in.
See, the crowd wants some more action. There's the knee instead by Truex, who pushes Kheder away. It was Truex scoring with the strike. Again, a nice kick by Kheder.
Now, Kheder is not out of this. He's still throwing big bombs. One of those catches, he could put Truex down. And it's getting to the point where he's going to need that. Oh, that one hit Truex square on the head.
Truex continues to move in. Kheder has been the defensive fighter throughout this contest. Truex again delivering a knee.
I wonder what would happen if Truex just stood in the center and forced Kheder to come to him. Because right now, he's just playing catch-up.
That might be a good strategy.
By the time he gets close enough, Kheder throws one punch and runs.
Kheder has had his best strikes here in this third round.
He's connecting.
And Kheder again with the right to the side of the head of Truex.
Needs more of those.
And he's swinging wildly now. I mean, he's got that puncher's chance when he's throwing haymakers like that.
And with Truex walking into it, it's that much better.
And for the first time, Truex shoots him. And Kheder responds by sprawling out. So just over a minute and a half to go. Tommy Truex changes his style of fighting.
And Truex now on his back. He's going to be eating leather.
Well, Kheder may take advantage of this.
And he's in a great position.
And watch him
could end it.
now. He's pounding and pounding away, and the tables have turned on Truex, and the fight is now in favor of Kheder, perhaps. But Truex back on his feet. Kheder, though, has dominated this third round. How did Truex get out of that?
I don't know. I mean, those punches coming down weren't that powerful.
A better puncher, stronger puncher would have ended this fight.
I think in that position, certainly. Kheder, though, with an opportunity here, can he get back to his feet and put Truex down? Switch now by Truex.
Well, Truex wanted it on the ground a few minutes ago. He would have been better off standing up, I think, the rest of this fight.
I agree with you. I don't know why he went down. I don't know why he broke and went down.
Ferrid Kheder has had his best round in this fight. Is it enough to sway the judges? Under 10 seconds, moving on to 10 seconds to go now, to under 14.
Short time. Kheder needs something big.
Ferrid Kheder.
He's just hanging on. He needs to punch, knee, something.
Has had a well-scored third round.
And that's going to do it.
Did Tommy Truex do enough in the first 2 rounds to win this fight? That is the question that we will turn to the judges for the answer.
My scorecard reads 29-28 in favor of Truex. 2 rounds to 1.
I think that's the way the judges will see it as well, Jeff. Truex here, if he had been on his feet, I mean the entire fight, he wanted to make this a fight.
Yeah.
And then he took this to the ground. He shot in, eventually got it to the ground, and when he got it to the ground, Kheder turned this into his round.
And it almost ended the fight. I mean, he was taking some shots straight down, but right here, none of them real powerful. None of them really doing any serious damage. If he had really thrown those haymakers from there, this fight might have been over. Right here, when he held the chin, I thought this is when the ref might step in, but Truex was able to bridge off, get back to his feet.
There you look at Tommy Truex.
That's right.
He obviously thinks he's won. He and Ferrid Kheder showing great respect for each other.
And we wait now for the judges' scorecards to be tallied by the commission.
Hi, baby. I love you, great.
And they'll be brought up.
Well, it's a tough decision for the judges on this one, and they have taken their time. Now we see that they have handed their verdict to Tim Hughes, the ring announcer. Let's go there now and find out who won between Kheder and Truex.
All right, Rose Garden. Referee Sean Gregory says, and I agree, both of these guys deserve one more big hand, leaving it all in the ring for you tonight. As we turn it over to the judges' scorecard, we do have a unanimous decision. Judge Ken Berenger scores the bout 30-27. And Judge Jana Richmond and Judge Rick Campos score the bout 29-28 for your winner, Tommy "Gun" Truex!
Those 2 solid first rounds for Truex gives him the unanimous decision here over Ferrid Kheder.
Yeah, and I said 29-28. One judge gave them all 3 rounds, which I may have a little. Yeah, you know, that third round, I thought Kheder earned it, but without question, Tommy Truex set the tone. Good boxing skills, good stand-up, and that led him to victory.
No surprise, he is the winner, and he's standing by with Ron.
All right, with the winner, Tommy Truex. And Tommy, you really pushed the pace the entire fight, stalking your opponent. Tell us about your game plan coming in.
I was just trying to bang. He's a
world caliber judo Olympian. What do you want me to do? Go out there and hip toss him? I tried to brawl, I tried to take it to him, and it worked out in my favor. Thank you, Portland. It was awesome.
Well, you're training with Jackson Submission in New Mexico, so we thought maybe at some point you might take this fight to the ground, but you only attempted that once later in the third round.
Yeah, I was going to the ground if I put it there, but it didn't work out that way. I started slugging and tried to land some punches and work some technique, and it worked out in my favor.
How key has it been to train with Jacksons and really for your fight game, because it seems to be evolving at this point?
It is. We train hard. We have a phenomenal stand-up fighter. We got Mike Winklejohn teaching our Muay Thai. We got Greg Jackson doing our ground. I got Mike Van Arsdale doing my wrestling. So it's awesome to train there.
Well, Tommy, we know you did 2 tours of duty in Iraq. We appreciate you serving our country and enjoy this victory. Tommy Truex, everyone, your winner.
I just want to dedicate this fight to my friend Eric Hornby. He served in Iraq with me, and now he's having a new battle with leukemia. So he's a good friend of mine. God bless him, and I dedicate this fight to him. So thank you very much, Portland. It's great to be here.
Well done, Tommy. Congratulations.
Thanks, Ron. As you look at just a wonderful guy talking with Tommy Truex yesterday and seeing the enthusiasm to be a pro in MMA, and also his enthusiasm for getting his second lieutenant commission, still just about a year away from that.
And he'll be an officer when he gets that commission, which is a huge step up. And don't worry, buddy, I'm going to offer a prayer to your buddy. I've been there. We wish him the best.
Certainly so. Celebration there in the Tommy Truex corner as he picks up his second pro win in 3 fights.
23 years old. I'll tell you what, he's got some good skills. If he keeps improving, we're going to see a lot more of Tommy Truex.
With both fighters training at camps known for their submissions and wrestling skills, it was surprising that neither Truex nor Kheder tried to take the fight to the mat. It's very rare to see 2 guys standing up and exchanging blows for all 3 rounds. Truex is training with the best at Greg Jackson's gym, and we'll definitely keep an eye on him in the future. Up next is a fighter named George Lockhart, who took on Chris Crawford at the American Fighting League's Caged Inferno event in Lexington, Kentucky. Lockhart lost his first career MMA fight back in 2001 to Edwin Deweese, and soon after joined the Marines. 6 years later, he is still an active Marine, a cryptological analyst who served a tour in Iraq. Lockhart's goal is to be a world champion one day, but for now, he says he just enjoys competing.
Coming to the cage now, 24-year-old George Lockhart, a record of 5-2, a 6-year Marine Corps veteran.
With a background in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, his favorite submission, the Kimura. But he doesn't mind standing. He's got the ability to knock his opponent out.
On his way to the cage is Chris Crawford, a former star football player in high school here in Louisville. He's turned to MMA and he is making his professional debut tonight.
He's been working on his wrestling. He's mainly a stand-up fighter, but if he gets it down, he'll look for the ground and pound. His favorite submission, the Kimura.
Taking a look at the tail of the tape, George Lockhart is a taller fighter, has the height advantage. Can Chris Crawford keep it in close?
Introducing first the fighter out of the blue corner. He stands 5 feet 10 inches tall, weighed in at 184 pounds, and is an active duty Marine. He has a mixed martial arts record of 5 wins and 2 losses. From Camp Lejeune, George Loaded Lockhart! And his opponent fighting out of the red corner. has a mixed martial arts record of 5 wins with 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing in at 182 pounds. From Louisville, Kentucky, Chris Conflict Crawford!
Listen to me. Do you guys have any question about the rules? No question? Fight clean, fight hard, touch gloves.
Two popular fighters here.
I thought we were going to hear Warren Zevon and Werewolves of London there for a minute. A lot of howling from the crowd and from Mr. Crawford.
Crawford, a football star in high school in Louisville, went on to play defensive back at Campbellsville College. In between colleges right now, he's thinking about going back to the University of Louisville, working on a computer science degree, trying to pick up some money to do that by turning pro. This is his pro debut against Marine veteran Lockhart. And Crawford takes him to the corner.
Crawford says he wants to bring it to the ground because Lockhart wants to keep it standing. Interesting. Lockhart, however, looks to be the stronger physically. What a specimen.
Lockhart, the 6-year Marine, he does have the height advantage, the reach advantage on Crawford. And Crawford, though, standing and exchanging with him in the early going of this fight, and now gets him to the mat like he wanted to. What can he do with it? Look at that left arm on a headlock right now. Can't get under there for an arm bar, and right back up with it is Lockhart.
Had a shot at some knees there, tried to throw one late. Nearly got there, but Lockhart able to get back into what really is a neutral position of standing.
Lockhart with a good low kick.
Boy, that had some pop.
You can hear it reverberate around here. And Crawford, though, will stand up again, push him against the fence.
I'm impressed with Crawford's tenacity.
Going for the single leg, can't get the takedown. But Crawford hangs right in there. Absorbs a knee in the process, and then another one.
Hanging out of the shorts, referee all over it. That's technically illegal. It could be a violation of foul.
Meantime, Crawford takes a couple of more knees to the midsection, now a third one. There you see the strength of George Lockhart taking over. Chris Crawford in his pro debut here. And look at Crawford, though, back with the punches and landed a couple of good ones on Lockhart.
Solid right hands. Made Lockhart back off.
Crawford says, let's bring it on. I'm fighting for school money here, Marine boy. Crawford again, good combination.
He's got the faster hands.
Crawford again, good right, and another good right on Lockhart. Best exchange so far for Chris Crawford here in the first round.
And this is a great way to neutralize the power of Lockhart, is to get inside, really where he can't bring it all to bear. And he's got him up against the fence where he may be able to rip the legs out.
Very smart fight here for Chris Crawford in the early going. Those punches to the side not doing a lot of damage. They're very active, though. And again, Crawford warned for grabbing onto the shorts of Lockhart. And now with the slam is Crawford showing strength of his own. Lockhart wanted a stand-up fight here, but Crawford's willing to give it to him.
Good flurry by Lockhart. He's got him going.
Lockhart with the knees. Crawford now tries to shoot in. Lockhart sprawls. And again, one for grabbing the shorts.
He hasn't let go yet. There it is. He just looked. I think he's going to assess a foul at the end of this round.
It's about the fourth time the referee, George Giselle, has had to pull the hands of Crawford away. Now they're back up. Crawford
got a mouse under his left eye. That last exchange by Lockhart.
Took a good shot there from Lockhart.
Very attritive.
Crawford comes back with another right, though. Pushes Lockhart against the fence.
Seems Crawford does his best work counter-punching, waiting for Lockhart to throw him, coming in after it.
Little redness under the right arm of Lockhart as well.
Great fight so far. It's gone back and forth.
30 seconds to go here in round one. Crawford able to catch his breath at the moment and hang on through this first round. Lockhart, the more experienced fighter, but Chris Crawford has given him everything he could ask for here in the first 5 minutes of this fight.
And Crawford's left side's got to be bruised from all those shots. But what a furious pace.
Lockhart appearing a bit frustrated as he walks back to his corner.
Well, Crawford buried his head. He couldn't hit anything but the ribs at that point, but each had their flurries. But I think Lockhart had that one devastating flurry. It looked as though he might be able to take Crawford out, marked up Crawford's face.
Let's take a look and listen now at this. Ouch. That hurts even on replay, that low kick there from George Lockhart.
And that's how he opened the fight up. He hasn't gone back to it, really. I thought that was a great strike there. Why not keep doing it? That'll slow Crawford down.
And the strongest punching and kicking for George Lockhart, even though in the middle part of that first round, Chris Crawford with a couple of good combinations. Lockhart, 24 years old. 6 years in the Marine Corps, twice has been deployed to the Mideast. Let's go to Ron Kruk now, Ron.
Thanks, Kenny, with the familiar face to Friday Fight Night on HDNet, Lieutenant Brian Stan. And Brian, you're in the corner of George Lockhart tonight. Assess his performance.
Oh, he's looking real good. I mean, his striking's sharp. His takedown defense is solid. You can see Chris can't take him down. So the second round, he's going to finish it right now by TKO.
Brian, I know you just came back from your second tour of duty in Iraq. Welcome home.
Thank you very much. It's great to be home.
Here we go. Kenny, back to you.
Thank you, Ron, and welcome back. Lockhart now trying to put it away here in the second round on Chris Crawford, the youngster making his pro debut.
He stands up, watch for the knee, if it comes back up. Crawford looks fatigued. He looked fatigued in the corner during the break.
Lockhart standing back up, saying, let's stand back up. Crawford having trouble standing. He is winded. Chris Crawford may not be able to make it unless he gets a big, deep gulp of breath here in the next 30 seconds.
He's suffering from the ultimate submission, cardio.
And now a couple more punches. This is going to be it. This could be it for Crawford. He took two good punches from Lockhart, now another. And he's pushed right against the fence, and somehow Chris Crawford is hanging on.
He doesn't want to duck. Those knees can come flying up.
In this position, he's not getting the head on, but he takes a solid one, and the towel's thrown in. That's it. The fight's over. They threw in the towel, a big right knee to the side of the head of Chris Crawford. That ends the fight. TKO for George Lockhart here in the second round.
Well, it seemed as though Crawford ran out of gas. Lockhart really was in a groove, great striking skill, and really those knees took a toll as well.
I tell you, Jeff, I'm surprised that Crawford even made it another 30 seconds to be in a position to take that knee. I thought he was almost out on punches.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Just seemed Crawford ran out of gas. Had a gallant first round, got his shots in. But Lockhart, big, strong, and he's a Marine. He's trained to take punishment.
I like Chris Crawford's style here. He won a Legends Fighting Championship for amateurs up in Indianapolis. We saw him on Friday Fight Night about a couple of months ago, and makes his pro debut. It's a tough one to make against a guy like George Lockhart.
And he did it all with striking. He's got jiu-jitsu background, but he did it with strikes.
All right, back to Sean in the ring.
The winner of this fight by referee stoppage in way of his Chris Crawford's corner threw in the towel. The United States Marine, George Loaded Lockhart!
That was my first one. That's good. It's great. Tough.
A big win here against a tough youngster in Chris Crawford, but George Lockhart picks up the victory, 6-2 now, and he's standing by with our Ron Kruk. Ron?
George Lockhart, what a war that was. Can you believe that your opponent making his professional debut hung on for so long?
Oh yeah, that's definitely impressive. I told the crowd that no matter what he threw at me, I'd keep coming back again and again. I just never expected him to keep coming back again and again as well.
Could you sense that he was getting fatigued?
Yes. I mean, I was betting on it. I was hoping because, you know, if he didn't, then, you know, that would have been a hell of a war, even more so.
Active Marine fighting for sport and for our country. Give a shout out to your platoon.
Yeah, I definitely want to throw a special thanks out to my platoon who's here today. I definitely want to throw a special thanks out to former OIC and a training partner, Brian Stan. Also want to throw out, I always dedicate all my fights to the Lord. So this one's out to him and to my wife.
Congratulations. Not bad to have a guy like Brian Stan in your corner either.
Oh, not at all, not at all. He's the best out there, man, the best out there.
Very good. Okay, guys, back to you at cage side.
All right, thanks, Ron. Booyah! There is George Lockhart, and a big win, and some of his Marine buddies here.
Well, Lockhart was definitely a difficult opponent for someone making his pro debut. Welcome to mixed martial arts, Chris Crawford. It also didn't hurt Lockhart to have WEC veteran and Marine Brian M. Stan in his corner. Since he was awarded the military's third highest honor, the Silver Star, for his leadership in Iraq, Stan has won all 5 of his MMA fights by way of TKO. Not bad. We now turn to our final fight of the show, the main event from HDNET Fights Reckless Abandon, Tim Kennedy versus Jason Miller. We already showed you Tim Kennedy's fight that followed this one. Now we give you the 3 rounds of intense action that Tim Kennedy endured just 2 weeks prior. This bout was a rematch between the two fighters as Miller looked to avenge a loss he suffered to Kennedy back in 2003. Despite Kennedy's success in the IFL in 2007, most considered the eccentric Miller the favorite and the active Army Ranger still relatively unknown. The friendly rivals put on a show worthy of a main event that night.
Tim Kennedy from San Luis Obispo, California, and I'm a kickboxer.
My name is Jason Mayhem Miller. I'm a pro wrestler from parts unknown. My game plan is to not have a game plan. I'm gonna go in there as the Zen master.
I'm not sure anyone really knows what fighting style Jason Miller does. It might be like funky kung fu.
Well, you can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm full of dress. No time to talk.
Tim Kennedy is, he's a true American hero. He's an Army Ranger. It's unfortunate that we gotta do battle, but it's business. My game plan is top secret.
My game plan is to be ferocious.
It's been drawn up by warlords from West Africa.
Maybe a little tenacious.
And I've taken it via the internet.
Some wrestling, some jiu-jitsu.
My prediction is pain.
All that put together will be some phenomenal mixed martial arts displays.
Oh yeah! I'm Mayhem Miller, the king of HDNET Fights.
My prediction is for a ridiculously hilarious fight with me winning, but both of us laughing in between every single round.
Tim Kennedy, Jason Mayhem Miller, You know, somewhere out there, it's almost like Ozzy and Harriet popped into Rob Zombie's movie when you listen to these guys. We're going to have fun, we like each other, but we're going out there and try to beat each other up or submit them. They do have tremendous respect. Here comes Tim Kennedy, San Luis Obispo, now in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. He, the Army Ranger, he with the tour of duty in Iraq that resulted in a Bronze Star, an 8-1 record. 4 of those wins by knockouts. You have to go back to February 2003, though, to when he beat Jason Miller. And since that time, his competition has not compared to the competition Miller has faced.
No, it hasn't, not in terms of quantity and not in terms of quality. So you have to give Miller the edge in terms of experience over the last few years. But Kennedy's been training. He's great on the ground, earned his black belt in jiu-jitsu. And certainly when you see him, he looks more powerful than Mayhem Miller.
And here he is in that San Luis Obispo area. He's fighting with some young guys named Jake Shield and Chuck Liddell during his career. Here's the guy he defeated 4 years ago. You think he wasn't influenced by pro wrestling? Here comes the show that is Jason Miller. Either that or Jack Black has lost a bunch of weight.
I don't know. I'm kind of liking the reflective gold shorts.
I wish you hadn't said that. Miller is 12-2 since the loss to Kennedy.
He just kicked a Pinata's butt.
12-2 and now 2-0 against Pinata's on his way to the cage. And you see the record of 19-5 overall, mostly by submission. Big margin by submission, 12. He does have 2 KOs. He has defeated Lawler and Kang and Vital among his wins. Trigg, St. Pierre, and Kennedy among his losses. Jason Miller has fun with life, that is for certain, as we've seen. He likes to put on a show. He is definitely Generation X. He loves the wrestling, he loves the MMA, he loves the show, and he does have a height and reach advantage over Kennedy. Will that matter tonight in this kind of fight?
Hey, the way I look at it is characters welcome here on HDNet. We want these kinds of personalities, and yeah, Mayhem is who he is because of the skills he possesses.
Well, now here's what works for Jason as compared to some others that we've seen, is this guy wins fights. We've seen showmen get up, but the thing that makes Miller so appealing to the crowd is he has faced some tough competition and he has defeated them, including defeating Robbie Lawler to win the Icon title.
Well, he backs up his antics with some impressive displays of MMA.
Let's go to Michael Buffer for the introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, from American Airlines Center here in Dallas, Texas, HDNet Fights presents the Reckless Abandon main event of the evening. Sponsored by Rob Zombie's Halloween, the unrated director's cut, available everywhere on Tuesday, December 18th. This contest is sanctioned by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, Executive Director Bill Kuntz, Boxing Administrator Dick Cole. The 3 judges assigned to the cage, Steve Armstrong, Robert Basinger, and Mike Mitchell, and inside the cage, your referee in charge of the action, Terry Hatley. And now, 3 5-minute rounds MMA middleweight division. Dallas, Texas, are you ready? MMA fans, are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world on HDNet, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black, 5'11" and officially weighing in at 185 pounds. His first contest, a defeat, Since then, undefeated in 8 consecutive fights. From Fayetteville, North Carolina, U.S. Army Ranger, Iraqi War, Bronze Star hero, Tim Kennedy. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red, trimmed on, white with black, 6'1", officially weighing in 186 pounds. MMA record, 27 victories, only 5 defeats. He's from parts unknown, including Temecula, California, Jason Mayhem Miller.
There you go, bro. Put your mic back.
I'm done. Instructions in the dressing room, right? Expect it to be clean, fight hard. This is the main event. 3 fights. Touch them up, man. Let's get at it.
Well, here it is, the rematch. Jason Miller, 12-2 since that loss to Kennedy. Tim Kennedy, the only time that he has gone the distance in his career was that decision win 4.5 years ago over Jason Miller. He's been fighting in the International Fight League as a recent, and he will be fighting there in 2 weeks on December 29th. And round 1 is underway. Good kick by Miller. Kennedy gets the takedown. It's on.
It almost looked like Kennedy hurt his leg with that leg kick. Miller now working the guard. Kennedy trying to pass.
Kennedy has faced accomplished fighters, but this is the toughest fighter we believe he's faced since he last faced Miller in 2003. And Miller going to work here.
And Miller's keeping himself upright.
Staying right in there.
Gives Kennedy a hard time and trying to move up the body.
Flashes the guillotine a little bit to keep him honest.
No knees, no knees.
Can't hit there with the knees because he's grounded.
Right against the fence. Here's Miller.
That's illegal. He's grounded.
And moving in quickly is Kerry Hatley to explain it to Tim Kennedy.
Let's go, let's go.
Jason Miller doesn't appear upset.
If you hit and come straight up, no problem. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Ready? Let's go.
Well, they broke the position for some reason, and I don't know exactly why. Did he throw a knee? Did he throw a rounding elbow?
Well, either way, they're back and fighting. The last time they met, it was a little closer to no holds barred. Knees on the ground were allowed. That was a fight in Utah, Ruse. That was 4 years ago. But getting a warning here in the first round is Tim Kennedy. Kennedy follows up with a good combination.
It's a second right hand in a row for Kennedy.
Kennedy's punching appears to be better. For a man known mostly for his groundwork. And now Kennedy again. Keeping Miller away with those big swings. Kennedy has landed 10 of 24 strikes.
These two are teeing off on each other. Miller likes to kick.
Miller again, that smacking kick. Trying to counter out of that is Tim Kennedy.
Now Miller moving in and out, and he's scoring effectively doing it.
Superman attempt. Short by Kennedy. Right against the fence they go. And to the mat.
Now we might see a suplex here. Miller comes up.
Kennedy trying for the high knee.
See if he'll throw him here.
Miller looks very comfortable right now. He's right in front of us on the fence. Kennedy trying for the trip.
Miller with good takedown defense here in the clinch.
Miller gets a knee in. And now he's thrown down by Kennedy. Up, right back up is Miller. As they continue to tango along the fence here. Each fighter landing over 40% of their strikes. Kennedy has landed 16 out of 38 so far. And he does have the one takedown.
Miller now getting more active.
Miller throwing the kick, but grabbing the leg and taking him down is Kennedy.
And they're out in the center. Kennedy may have a chance to work now.
Kennedy trying to get around and get in for that rear naked choke action. Not going to happen right now. Almost got it in that time. Slipped in and out.
Silva dropped some elbows. In a good position to do it. He wants to get the mount. Tells me he wants to ground and pound.
He's trying, but
he's got it.
Now he gets there briefly.
Now he takes his back. Let's see if he goes for the rear naked again.
Instead, he gets in a couple more punches, does Tim Kennedy.
And he steal the round here with this big effort at the end.
Kennedy with a pair of takedowns and a submission attempt in addition to strikes. He has been the aggressive fighter. Now he's going for the rear naked choke. He has that right arm in, but maybe Miller will make it through. Yeah, final seconds, so Kennedy will try to unload and get a few more strikes in.
Miller taking punishment
Kennedy,
for those bombs.
Impressive at the start of this fight. And receiving a lecture from referee Kerry Hatley as he goes back to his corner about early on in this fight. A blow while he was down. Anyway, this is the action in the middle of the cage. And shooting in and getting the single leg takedown here is Kennedy. And then Kennedy getting some punches in. Kennedy with 2 takedowns in that first round. He landed on 20 of his 53 strike attempts. Kennedy, the more aggressive fighter in that first round as we take a look at the CompuStrike stats. And you see the 3 submission attempts by Kennedy, very active. Miller had 1 of his own.
Let's see what happens right now. Now Kennedy probably won that round with that big burst at the end of the first round.
Kennedy, the more aggressive fighter throughout so far as round 2 gets ready. Kennedy trying for combinations, missing with the kick. A little bit of redness on the right eye of Jason Miller.
Nice combination, right, left hook kick.
Kennedy has stayed with that game plan here in the first round plus.
Circle out, circle out.
Kennedy gets away. Miller trying to get the takedown. Instead, it's Kennedy now will try to work here.
He's got to be careful. He can take his back. He's trying to squeeze around the arm. He's going to get there. He's got his back.
Let's see if Kennedy can go to work.
He's holding the wrists.
Tried for the rear naked choke earlier, could not get it. Will try to get it in again, not this time, but instead he's able to get in a couple of good punches. Got a big hook in to the side of the face of Jason Miller.
He's in a tough position to go for the rear naked because he can't arch and extend the body of Miller. Now he's got a shot.
Kennedy once again trying to get it in. You see Miller, though, still active, trying to push away.
This is where you don't want to burn all your energy trying to force a move that's not there.
Well, Kennedy already has thrown 19 strikes, landing 6 of them in this round. And once again, trying to work on the RNC.
And he's not sure. No, he's not under the neck, and he's going to get swept. Good job by Miller tucking his chin. Kennedy unable to sink that rear naked choke, and now Miller has an opportunity in ground and pound. Kennedy pulling on the head to close the distance, but Miller working with his left hand.
Miller throwing some punches, nothing effective so far.
Kennedy now underneath the hips with his feet. He might be able to push him away. Miller settles back into top, half guard by Kennedy.
Well, at this stage, and you wonder if Kerry Hatley will consider standing him up here in just a moment.
If there's no more action, he can do so. It's improved, it's improved. You hear him saying improved.
I think we're probably getting close to that. Miller
starting to wear on Kennedy here.
Right against the fence now, but can Miller get in position for strikes? That's what he's trying to do.
Dropped a good elbow.
Kennedy standing up out of it is Kennedy, and now Kennedy gets the single leg trying to. Miller fights it off.
Kimura attempt by Miller. Kennedy locked his hands back.
Now Miller's got him, or Kennedy rather has that right leg of Miller.
Somebody's bleeding pretty good. It's all over the left foot, Miller. So it must be Kennedy.
And trying to spin around to the side now is Miller. And now Miller moving over to the side. There is a cut on Tim Kennedy's face around the eye bridge of the nose area.
And there was a good drop elbow by Miller earlier, and that might have done that damage.
Well, as we've seen before, elbows create a lot of blood, even if they don't always really hurt the opponent.
I think they're going to stand him here.
Hatley is. Now he wants a timeout. Look at the blood on the face of Tim Kennedy. And that's the timeout call. They're going to take a look at Kennedy and see if he can continue on here. We're guessing it's a cut by an elbow, certainly a cut, and it's gushing blood right now. Right down the bridge of the nose. That is a big cut. There's a lot of blood that comes out of that.
But it's not in a bad position. It's not in a bad position. He can't continue. It's not affecting his vision.
Well, it's not going to hurt him. That's for sure. But
the other cuts we saw,
if it opens up and the blood comes out again, we'll see. Anyway, it's Miller and Kennedy as they resume.
It affects the vision. That's when they usually stop.
Miller kind of smiles a little bit as Kennedy comes out and tries to get in an uppercut. Kennedy now perhaps sensing urgency with that cut that he better try to get this thing over if he can, because it's opened up again and blood is pouring out. You wonder how much longer he can go before they'll call it.
You certainly don't want to change your game plan just because you got that one cut. Continue to do what you've been doing.
You have to wonder in the back of their mind, though, are they thinking they'll stop this fight?
Yeah, you're right.
I'm
I mean,
good,
that's there. There's no question.
Yeah.
Right. But the place of that cut is in a good spot for Kennedy.
Final seconds of the round. Miller trying to get a few more punches in.
And Kennedy will have an opportunity for his corner to work on that cut.
Look at Jason Miller. There's Tim Kennedy.
Let's see if there's an elbow here. Miller does a real nice job of just dropping a bomb. Right there. That might have done it.
That might have been it.
There's blood already on the face there. You can see it on the right side of Kennedy, so that probably was the elbow.
You see the work being done in the corner of Tim Kennedy. That is a deep cut across the bridge of the nose. 14 of Miller's 18 landed strikes were from the ground position in the second round, as Jason Miller coming on strong to dominate that round.
I think both of these guys have good work. They're both looking very eager to finish right now. We're going to see a great third round.
Well, I've got it 1-1. Kennedy won the first. Miller won the second.
Here we go with the deciding third round as we look at the CompuStrike stats. Again, we mentioned the big second round for Miller. Those, the cumulative totals. Miller picking up the pace in that second round. Kennedy won a decision. The only other time they've met 4.5 years ago.
Clinching against the fence, Kennedy wants a takedown. And he gets mounted. Miller now firmly in control.
The momentum clearly switching to Jason Miller in that second round and continuing here.
Butterfly guard by Kennedy, he might make it up.
Blood again pouring from the nose of Kennedy, and the blood is coming in his eyes now. You wonder about his vision.
Well, that will be the telling tale.
Blood in his left eye area.
I'm sure Miller's going to aim some of his strikes directly at the bridge of the nose. Kennedy getting his heels under, he'll try to kick Miller back, push him away.
I wonder if he can, if Kennedy can get back on his feet, if he'll try to use some more of the stand-up game. He was effective with that in the first round. Miller again, 12 of his wins by way of submission. He's very comfortable here on the ground.
Miller trying to pull the left leg out, get to guard, or get to mount. Kennedy able to keep that one knee in there. But it does look like the other. Oh, he's going for a. Oh, look at Miller
playing the heel hook. And there's Miller saying, "What, me worried?" That was the Alfred E. Newman move.
That was the pro wrestling move. Talking with the audience while you're fighting. But that also tells you how confident and in control Miller is at this point. Mayhem Miller draws blood and has since controlled the fight.
That blood is all over the face of Kennedy. And that comes from a small cut above the bridge of the nose, by the way. This has not been a pounding that Kennedy's taken, but it would look that way if you just tuned in. It would look like Rob Zombie has stepped in and started directing this fight.
Well, let's see what happens now. The doc will take a look. If he just wipes the eye clean and says the cut's not any worse, they may let him continue.
Well, you see Kerry Hatley and the physicians looking on. You see that cut. Anytime there's a little bit of pressure, it's going to gush out. It's not hurting Kennedy, other than when he's on his back, the blood is getting around his eye.
They're going to let him go.
They're going to let this fight go. This guy is a decorated Army Ranger. You know Tim Kennedy wants to continue on.
Yeah,
the question is now, what does he have to do here to get the momentum of this fight back?
Get a takedown, get on top. When he's down, the blood will run in the eye. When he's on top, it'll run off the face.
Well, he threw a lot of strikes early. Not many since then.
Well, Miller got the takedown in that clinch position. He shouldn't be afraid to strike, but he doesn't want to give up another takedown.
Kennedy on defense, backed up against the fence. And Miller trying to force the action, get it back to the ground.
And Kennedy gets what he desperately needed. He's on top. Miller now on defense. Let's see what Kennedy can do.
You think at this stage Kennedy needs a submission?
He rushed
alone, that's not going to do it.
Yeah, he rushed that mount. I don't think he needed to try to go to mount.
You almost wonder about his punching ability.
Umaplata couldn't get it. Good job by Miller countering.
Jason Miller regaining control of this fight.
And if it stays here, Miller will win. Full guard by Kennedy, but he needs a sweep. He needs to get back on top. I think he just rushed that mount a little bit. Miller waited for him to take the mount and then bridged him through.
Well, Miller landing 62% of his strikes. He has the takedown. Kennedy, first round very impressive. It was his tempo. He dictated that first round. Miller turned it around in the second with strikes that cut over the bridge of Kennedy's nose. It's not hurting, but perhaps has limited some of his vision. And he has just not been able to get in the groove here in this third round. Jason Miller in control. It appears that Miller is going to get his revenge.
Miller going right after hammer fists to the face, and that's going to open up that cut again. But he won the takedown war, and I think that has been the difference so far. Miller on top has been effective.
And Miller flourish. Couple of big knees to the side. Another one for effect, just in case the judges haven't made up their mind.
Great job by Jason Miller. He won that standing battle.
Final seconds. For the second time, Kennedy and Miller have gone the distance. And the crowd appreciates the action here in Dallas as you look at Mayhem Miller. Great respect he has for his friend Tim Kennedy, not just for what he's done in the cage, but for his Army service. Kennedy, though, his toughest fight since he last beat Miller over 4.5 years ago. And he fought hard tonight.
Do I hear a rematch for the rubber shot there? I think so.
Miller a 25-9 edge in strikes landed. 23 from the ground. It was all Miller in that third round, and he turned the fight around in the second.
100% correct. And Miller showed a lot there, especially in his ground game. He could defend against submissions, he could ground and pound, but most of all, I think this is the biggest difference, he controlled the takedowns.
Let's look at the final CompuStrike stats. And the big one that jumps out there as well is the Tim Kennedy, the submission attempts, the takedowns. But look at 100 thrown strikes by Miller. He landed on 55 of them.
Well, I know Miller had at least 2 takedowns. He ended up on top twice. So I'm not sure why CompuServe only had 1, but he was up on top twice with takedowns.
Miller looking confident. The judges have made their decision. 3 judges here cage side in Dallas. Remember, they met in February 2003. Tim Kennedy won a decision. Michael Buffer has the verdict of the judges.
We go to the scorecards for our main event of the evening. Robert Basinger, Mike Mitchell, and Steve Armstrong all scored about the same, 29-28, to the winner by unanimous decision, Jason Mayhem
Jason Miller wins the rematch. Over a very game, Tim Kennedy. 2 times it met, 2 times it has gone the distance. You just wonder now, Jason Miller, Frank Trigg down the road, standing by with the winner. Let's go to Ron.
All right, it's the post-fight interview everyone has been waiting for. Jason Mayhem Miller. What a fight. We knew on paper this one could be an all-out war, and you two didn't disappoint.
Man, it was. Let me explain something to everybody real quick. Before you leave, yeah, I'm talking to you. Hey, man, I just play a tough guy on TV. Tim Kennedy, U.S. Army Ranger. He is a real American hero. Please give it up to him. I appreciate what he does for the country, man.
Very classy, Jason. Give us your take on this fight, man. I mean, this one was all over the place.
Man, I knew I was going to have to bite Tim on the neck to get him to quit, man, and I didn't want to go that far. I just want to say, everybody watching on High Def TV, everyone here in Dallas, man, thank you guys for supporting this great sport.
Jason, with this win, this sets up maybe a rematch with you and Frank Trigg. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, hell yeah. First off, I like to fight Mark Cuban if I can. We'll go wallets. Bring everything you got in your wallet.
I don't think you want to do that, man.
Winner take all. Yeah, I do.
Jason Miller, once again, you did not disappoint the Mayhem Monkeys tonight. You get a win over Tim Kennedy and a piñata. Congratulations.
Mayhem Monkeys.
Your winner, Jason Miller.
At the end of the 3-round battle, Jason Miller showed a lot of class honoring Kennedy. In an incredible twist of fate, as we were finishing production on this show, Army Ranger Tim Kennedy was called into active duty with the U.S. Army. Kennedy told us in an email that he is training 12 to 16 hours a day to prepare, but couldn't inform us when or where he would be going. Because of his obligations and desire to serve our country, Kennedy will miss his scheduled IFL title bout against Matt Horwich. All of us here at HDNET Fights send our thoughts and prayers to Tim, his wife, and 2 daughters. Hope to see him back home soon, doing his fighting in the cage and not on the battlefield. That's going to do it for HDNET Fights, Stars, and Strikes, our tribute to the United States military and those fighting for our freedom. For the entire crew, I'm Ron Kruk, and we'll see you next time in the cage.
You know the legends, Fedor, Bas Rutten, Chuck Liddell. Prepare yourself for the future. Jay Huron, Wagner Fabiano, Tim Kennedy, Jason Mayhem Miller. Today's fighters, tomorrow's champions. HDNET Fights. Next Friday at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific on HDNET. Your new home for MMA.